Hi everyone, welcome back to Happy Hot Home. So I'm starting a new series here today on my channel, and it's basically going to have to do with some selections people need to make when they are building a swimming pool. I get questions almost daily about certain things about our swimming pool that we completed last year. So I would like to address some of those here on my channel. So it's going to be a multi-part series, and it's going to have to do with how to choose waterline tile for your pool, how to select the finish of your pool, and how to select the color of your pool. In this particular video, I am going to talk about the pool finish and different types of pool finishes, because it's really not that easy to understand, and I actually muddled through it last year, and I want to clarify a bunch of things for you to make the decision easier for you, because it's really not as intuitive as you may think it is. There are so many options out there, and depending on your pool builder, maybe they may show you some of these options. Maybe you're just building a very, very standard pool and they won't even discuss them. But I would like to talk a little bit about so that you understand what you're getting yourself into, and so you understand other options that are out there that maybe weren't shown to you, but maybe you wanted, but you didn't know you wanted because you wanted your pool to look a particular way, if that makes sense. So in this video, I'm going to talk specifically about pools that are made from gunite or shotcrete. I'm not going to discuss pools with a fiberglass finish or pools with liners. This video specifically relates to pools with a concrete, gunite, or shotcrete finish. When it comes to building a swimming pool, gunite swimming pools allow for the most customizable options available. So when we were choosing a pool type for our home, we wanted to be able to customize it exactly the way we wanted. And there's so many different aspects involved in a pool, we knew that choosing a gunite pool was exactly what we wanted to fit our particular needs. So one of the customizable features of choosing a gunite pool is the ability to choose the finish and color of the pool's interior surface, because the choices really are mind-boggling. There are so many choices out there, and it can really get confusing. There are new products for finishes that are coming out all the time, and it can be overwhelming to try to decide between the different types that are available. And this can also apply to if you are refinishing an existing pool. There's still a lot of decisions that need to be made, and if you are refinishing an existing pool, this video is for you as well, because you will want to know about all of the new finishes that are out there, as opposed to, when you had your pool built maybe several years ago. So I hope this helps you as well. Your pool builder should be able to help you narrow down your choice based on your budget, the appearance that you're going after, the texture that you want on the bottom of the pool, or whatever aspect is important to you. My pool builder included an exposed aggregate finish in the cost of our pool. That's great, since it is an upgrade over just a standard plaster finish. My pool builder did not try to upsell any other finishes, and I didn't know any better than to ask about other options, which I guess is a good and a bad thing, right? You don't know what you don't know, but sometimes you would like to know about other options. But when I did discover the higher levels of exposed aggregate finishes on my own, a whole new world opened up, and I wanted to learn more. I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing out on anything, and that later I would regret it, thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I had gotten that, but I didn't even know about it. So that's why I want to explain all of these things to you so you won't be stuck in that situation. Because this is a big investment. These pools cost a lot of money. And if you're like me, you want to know everything up front. And you want it to look exactly how you want it to look. And you don't want to be disappointed at the end. So that is what I am trying to help you with and trying to help you avoid so that you're super happy with your pool and you get what you want. So let's start by talking about what exactly we mean when we say pool finish. The swimming pool finish prevents water from seeping into the ground through the concrete shell. Concrete is very porous, and since pools are exposed to water, chlorine, and general wear and tear, they need a finish to protect the concrete to act as a barrier. So what are the different types and levels of finishes on the market? From what I gather from the information that I researched last year when I was going through this, the finishes are lumped into 3 levels, or 3 different types: plaster, aggregate, and tile. There are new products coming out all the time, and it is hard to keep up with naming conventions. So I'm going to try to differentiate them based on my research and knowledge as someone who built a pool in 2021. Let's talk a little bit about the pros and cons of each type of swimming pool finish. The first type is the pool plaster finish. This is one of the oldest and most economical options out there, is just to go with the standard white plaster finish. This finish option has fallen out of fashion in recent years, but it is very simple and very affordable. Plaster finishes have been around since the 1960s. So what is more common now is for pool builders to add dyes to the plaster to change the color of the water and make it more appealing. Some builders may charge an extra charge for this, and some others may not. This is the most economical option if you're building excuse me. This is the most economical option if you are building a pool and want a different watercolor other than the common aqua color of a white pool plaster finish. So sometimes the problem with a white and a colored plaster finish is that stains and discoloration become more apparent than with other finishes. The plaster is prone to wear and tear more than aggregate or tile finishes. So you can expect a 7 to 10 year lifespan from a single plaster finish with average care. You should acid wash your finish fairly regularly and carefully monitor your pool's pH balance to extend the life of the finish. Also, with different types of pool plaster can help alleviate this problem. So I suggest talking to your pool builder about this issue and coming up with a plan to get the longest life out of your pool finish, because really that is what we all want, because this is such a large investment. The next type of finish I'm going to talk about is the aggregate pool finish. And I see the term aggregate being thrown around, and depending on the company, there seem to be several quote aggregate finishes available. The word aggregate by definition means a whole or combining several elements. Okay, so let's start with that. The term aggregate pool finish has evolved over the years as more and more products come onto the market. Years ago, pool finishes were separated into categories of plaster, pebble, aggregate, quartz, and tile. But these days, aggregate finishes can now include quartz or pebbles or even glass, and these are referred to as exposed aggregates. An exposed aggregate finish combines elements of a plaster finish with standard aggregates. Does that sound confusing? Well, it is. A standard aggregate finish uses concrete as the main component. An exposed aggregate adds in pebbles, beads, quartz, crystals, and glass directly into the plaster, thereby changing the texture. Some of these additives can feel like walking on the bottom of a creek bed and may be uncomfortable to those with sensitive feet. On the other hand, it looks really pretty, especially if you want a natural aesthetic. So you have to weigh your options. So when it comes down to it, it's really not that important to know the difference between aggregate and exposed aggregates. The terms have morphed together to basically mean additives into dyed cement. What is important to know is that an exposed aggregate finish, when combined with chemical dyes, can drastically change the look of your pool. Exposed aggregate pool finishes have also been shown to have a longer lifespan of between 15 and 20 years, which is much longer than just a regular plaster finish. So the last finish in the lineup, and most notably and the most expensive, is a tile finish. Tile is applied differently than the other two types of finishes. Rather than pouring in a mixture and smoothing it over, tile is a type of finish that consists of a collection of hand-applied tiles that create a mosaic pattern, depending on the size of your tiles. As you might expect, tiles take the longest to install, hence this is the most expensive option. So many of you have probably heard of Pebble Technology. This company's been around for 25 years, and they are the pioneers of exposed aggregate pool finishes. And they started the trend for adding pebbles to a pool's finish. Over the course of times, other companies like NPT, National Pool Tile, have started their own line of pool finishes to include plasterscapes, colorscapes, quartzscapes, stonescapes, polished scapes, and jewelscapes. And to further complicate the decision for customers, within each finish line are different series. For example, the stonescapes lines has various series to include Puerto Rico blend, mini pebble, and touch of glass. Basically, these are all different aggregate blends within a colored plaster to slightly create a different look and texture. So we built our pool during COVID, and the pool place NPT was closed for many months because of COVID, but when it did open back up, I made an appointment to go talk to them to view all of the different types of finishes. I fell in love with this one particular series called Jewelscapes, and that's the picture above. This line, it's an aggregate of glass beads. The texture is so smooth, it's super colorful, and it's very luxurious. It's the highest level of all the finishes. But there was a little catch. The cost to install it was just astronomical. I mean, it was not affordable. So as much as I loved it when I asked my pool builder the price about it, I mean, there's no way that was going to happen because I just wasn't going to pay that type of markup to get it. But it is beautiful, and it is just important to know the types of finishes that there are out there. So I hope all of this has been helpful to you to do your research when you are looking for pool finishes, when you are building your own swimming pool. In a next video, I am going to talk about how to choose the color. I touched a little bit on it in this video with the plaster color, but I am going to actually go into depth a little bit more about plaster colors and show you our pool and the color that we chose and how it looks different at different points during the day so that you all are well aware of things like that. So I hope you found this video very informative if you are building a swimming pool. It is very confusing, and I was very confused by it in the process. So just based on the number of questions that I get daily, I just wanted to go into a little bit more detail about what's going on when you build a pool that your pool builder may not tell you about. He may just give you the contract and say, okay, this is what you get. You get a different color. What color do you want? And then so be it. And again, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just want everybody to know that there are other options out there, and maybe you want to look into those options and maybe you don't. But it's always nice to know. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Press like and subscribe, and as I said, I'm going to do several more videos about our pool, and just to help everyone understand about the pool building process and all the decisions there are to make, because it is very stressful, and I can tell by the panicky messages that I get from a lot of people that are on the hook to make a decision and they just don't know what to do. So hope you all found this helpful, and I will see you next time.